Welcome to Brainstorming. I'm Anna Tizard, award-winning dream punk and deeply weird fantasy author. And yes, that's me and my fiction that's deeply weird. Explore and imagine with me the most unexpected story ideas using the surrealist word game of Exquisite Corpse. Find out more and join in at annatizard.com. This is a storytelling challenge unlike anything you've tried before. Hello, imaginative people. I'm Anna Tizard and this is episode 42 of Brainstorming. Today's show will be jam-packed with plenty of story brainstorms from 3 exquisite corpses. Once more, I'll be drawing words at random from the socks of destiny to make bizarre and intriguing sentences from the results. The greatest, though perhaps most challenging, types of writing prompts I've ever found. Using the magic of the pause button and lots of imagination, join me in a very weird and unique storytelling journey 3 times over. Without further ado, bring forth the socks of destiny. So, as regular listeners will know, Exquisite Corpse combines words from various players into a very weird sentence that goes describing word noun, action, describing word noun. And so I have 3 socks of destiny for the 3 word entry types. And the first word is from Robin the Mail Lady, and it is murky. Ooh, something or someone is murky. So let's grab a noun from the noun sock. This is from bird_Murphy. Cornflake. Ooh, okay. All right. I'm not gonna try and work out what this means yet until we have some more words, because the other words will provide clues. So from the action sock, we have a word or phrase from Harold. Committed identity fraud using the details of. Okay. This is going to be a bit of a challenging one, but they're all challenging, let's face it. And I always manage to come up with something so far. Wish me luck. So the next word, the describing word, is from Paul Benfield, and it is motionless. It's an interesting word. Let's find out the final word. What was motionless? This is from Anonymous. Gardener. Right. Okay. I'm going to read out the entire Exquisite Corpse and then we shall have a think about how this could make a story idea. The murky cornflake committed identity fraud using the details of the motionless gardener. Ooh, those last 2 words. Has this gardener been murdered? Why? And by whom? A murky cornflake? That makes no sense. Going back to the beginning part, so a food committing identity fraud, pretending to be something that it isn't, that's got to be poisoning, surely. Except that, no, food is posing as a person, a motionless gardener, so that doesn't make any sense. I think we have to be a little bit creative here with the words and use flake instead of cornflake so that we have a person, someone unreliable, uncommitted to anything, who takes on the identity of this gardener who's motionless. Is the gardener in a coma? Are they dead? Ooh, I think I'm going to need some green tea before I take this any further. Let's give this a bit of a stir. Right. Okay, got to get those creative juices going. Right. What could go wrong? Nothing, surely. Terence didn't make mistakes. He didn't spend all his savings on courses and workshops, slaving at the so-called art of gardening. He was a gardener. He used his instincts, his natural flair, and other people's arrangements, altered just a little. Would they ever find out? The judges and the people who came sniffing around the displays in the Gardeners' Award Roadshow? No, he was too cunning for that. Where do you get your inspiration, Terence? A journalist, grinning inanely, stuck a microphone under his nose. Saturday morning lions, he said, running a hand through his mussed-up hair. The journalist's eyes darted away, scrambling for a response to this. A true dreamer, then, she said, all smiles. You could say that. He grinned. They could say what they liked. As the judges announced his garden display as the winning piece, first place, Terence thought of his motionless counterpart, who lay buried in his own garden back at home, in a hole that was originally meant for a pond. Such a weird, trusting guy. No, Terence didn't make mistakes. He made good use of other people's. Creepy. This feels really like a short piece. Like you wouldn't want to, you wouldn't need to expand upon it very much to make it feel complete, because you have this little twist at the end. But what other options does this exquisite corpse present us with? The murky cornflake, or flake, committed identity fraud using the details of the motionless gardener. Motionless, yes, but not necessarily dead. You could try writing something even creepier, based on the idea that Terence, or whoever your fraudster character is, believes the gardener's dead when he's not. What if he killed, or thought he killed, the gardener in a bit of a rush, only covered up the body under, say, a loose piece of plastic? After all, who was going to come nosing into his garden while he was at a roadshow? Then what might happen? A really hideous confrontation with the gardener, now alive, or continuing to be alive, or the gardener decides to take things into his own hands. That could lead to a really tangled plot if the gardener decides, the real gardener that is, decides that he could actually help him out. If this guy, this flake, could help him fake his own death, and if he were to go along with that before enacting his revenge on Terence. Perhaps it could just be an idea that occurs to him for the biggest publicity stunt imaginable, when Terence becomes famous for somebody else's gardening skills, and the real gardener, once the one he's been impersonating, bursts in on a scene during a live TV interview and reveals what's happened, his attempted murder. Another option, which just kind of skirted past my brain there when I was thinking about someone being alive again, is if you're really into fantasy horror, the motionless but not quite dead gardener could be the basis for a twisted zombie horror set in the suburbs. Could be interesting. Not quite the sort of thing that I would normally write, but I mean, I haven't tried it yet, and that might be right up your street, so why not give it a go? I think it's time for another exquisite corpse. Okay. Our first describing word is from Graciela Madrid. Welcome to the game, Graciela. Unforgettable. I like that. Let's grab a noun. This is from Robin the Mail Lady. Gremlin. Ooh, an unforgettable gremlin. In what way? Let's try for an action word or phrase. This is from Elena Dennison. Counted the days until. Right. We have an impatient yet unforgettable gremlin. The next word is from Mariah. Arrested. That's interesting. It's like a describing word, but it refers to some action that has happened or is about to happen. Final word, again from Robin the Mail Lady. Letter carrier. Ah, a letter carrier from a letter carrier. Thank you, Robin. Right, let's read the entire exquisite corpse and see what comes up. We have the unforgettable gremlin counted the days until the arrested letter carrier. Well, first of all, I'm drawn to this unforgettable gremlin. That alone is actually a great writing prompt for anyone writing fantasy or horror, because what would make it unforgettable compared to forgettable? Are there gremlins that are forgettable? Special powers? An extra weird appearance like, I don't know, purple skin, extra arms, extra heads, or even a strange way of dressing, a special weapon, or a particularly ugly snarl. What if unforgettable implies a situation where the protagonist has previously forgotten gremlins she's come across, and this one, for some reason, is remarkable and memorable? This idea feels like it could be building up to something. Our character is getting multiple visitations from gremlins, and it's terrifying at the time, but perhaps it always happens at night, and each time she wakes up the next morning believing it was a dream. Maybe there's some magic that causes her to forget each one, or to make each experience a bit hazy, or simply to cause the memory to mingle with dreams of a very deep sleep afterwards, until she meets this one, the unforgettable gremlin. But why would someone be visited by multiple gremlins in the night who don't want her to remember them later on? What are they up to? A slight word of caution. I'm just thinking about what would happen if you were to write a story like this where the reader can see what's going on, but the protagonist remains ignorant for quite some time. This can make for a really pleasurable story up to a point, because it makes us as readers feel clever, because we can see what's going on and the hero or heroine can't. It's a great way of building suspense in that way, because you're sitting there going, come on, work out what's going on. But if you push it too far and she remains oblivious of what's happening, what's actually happening to her for too long, or misses too many clues, it can frustrate the reader. We're left going, come on, work it out, just a little bit too long. So to be handled with care, but it can definitely be a good suspense builder as a story. But let's look at the second part of this exquisite corpse. This is starting to intrigue me now. The arrested letter carrier. And an arrested letter carrier that this unforgettable gremlin counted the days until. Perhaps it should be counted the days until they could confront the arrested letter carrier. It's like it's been left a little bit open to interpretation as to what exactly it is counting the days until in relation to this other person, this letter carrier who gets arrested for some reason. This has got to be someone, not necessarily a delivery person by trade. It might be one specific letter they're carrying as a one-off. And arrested? Apparently the gremlin is waiting their arrest. Does that mean the gremlin has set them up? Because how else would they know that this letter carrier is about to be arrested? In the bottom of the mail trolley, a small cloud of stink was gathering. Underneath a cardboard package, an unseen creature lurked. The wheels of the trolley rattled over the uneven paving stones, then scraped to a halt. The postwoman this morning hummed to herself, a soft melody that retreated against her crunching footsteps and the clang of another gate. Then approaching again, such a light-hearted sound, almost like innocence. The gremlin under the box snickered. Not innocent for much longer. The next letter, the one sliding about on top of the cardboard box where it hid, was for someone important, and it contained a fright. What next? Let's consider our options. There's a letter bomb addressed to a victim. Something about the background of the letter carrier and who this intended victim is will lead the police to accuse that letter carrier. That's something to think about, because it's a bit unusual that they would accuse the actual delivery person. But initially, my way of discovering this sort of detail and developing the idea would be to just start writing it and hone in on that sense of suspense in the situation to see where it leads me. There will be a point where I have to put my pen down or stop typing to reflect on what's working and what's not. What ideas have popped up along the way that I could use, and what else I might need that a walk or a meditation might bring me. I'm tempted in this first draft to simply explore and see how I can build the tension. The way to draw this out in this particular story idea is to focus on the action and create a push-pull between two possible outcomes. So the reader won't know which way things are going to go. One possible outcome is that the recipient of the letter will just open it and die or be seriously injured, implicating the letter carrier. And why they're implicated will be another question to just kind of have in the back of your mind, because that is quite an unusual situation. So that's the first possible outcome, the really scary one. The second outcome, which the reader will hope for, is that either the recipient or the delivery person will realise this is a letter bomb in time and prevent the explosion and discover this gremlin. To do this, we'd have to wind in opportunities for one or the other outcome to rise into the story, to sort of come onto the horizon. She hesitates over this letter. She notices something about the shape, but then she's distracted by something else going on in the street. Maybe someone comes over to her and talks to her, or it starts raining and she wants to get a move on, or the person to whom the letter's addressed, when they open the door or maybe it's their butler if they're that rich and famous, might be suspicious of the envelope and cause a delay where they both inspect the letter. And then you have other questions to explore. Why is this person being targeted? Or is it the letter carrier who's actually being targeted and the famous person is just considered collateral? Lots of possibilities here. But how about one final exquisite corpse? Okay. Our first word is from Becky_Clough. Swoon-worthy. Okay. Feels a little bit maybe Jane Austen or kind of overdone romantic. Not quite sure, but let's just see what it goes with. Next word is from Anonymous. Dinosaur. A swoon-worthy dinosaur. Well, I guess anything's possible. Next word or phrase from the action sock is from Robin the Mail Lady. Ran across the street to get to. This is just getting really strange. Okay, so the next word is from Anonymous again. Relaxing. Someone's running towards something that's relaxing. That's different. And then our last word is from Paul Thomas. Imp. Okay, let's read the whole exquisite corpse and see what we can find. The swoon-worthy dinosaur ran across the street to get to the relaxing imp. Okay, so I'm tempted. I mean, we have had some exquisite corpse words like gremlin that I've taken literally. So I think with this one, I'm allowed a little bit of poetic license to go with a metaphorical dinosaur to try and make this work. Got to have a mixture of the literal and the metaphorical in these things. So I'm going to go with, a swoon-worthy dinosaur. I'm just thinking of an attractive or sexy older person, or someone with old-fashioned values, maybe old-fashioned romantic values if they are swoon-worthy, or someone who believes in things that are generally obsolete, or perhaps ancient things. And in fact, they can't be too old, literally speaking, if they ran across the street and they seek relaxation. A relaxing imp. For some reason, I immediately think of a massage parlour, somewhere where you can become deeply relaxed. But then that could also mean a meditation. Is this a massage parlour, or is this some kind of community centre or shop where there are yoga groups meeting up, meditation classes, that sort of thing? I'm just going back to the swoon-worthy dinosaur. It's not quite letting my brain go. Is this an important contradiction? It's like, I quite like contradictions in a way, because all stories are born of conflict. So in a way, a contradiction can be the puzzle that could give us the conflict of a story. You have to find the knot of this to be able to pull it apart. So we've got to look for trouble. How about this? She closed her eyes. All the troubles of the last year sprang into her mind, close as the veins of her eyelids, that flashed orange against the lamp. She shifted her position, drank in a deep breath. Your aura is rather dark. Try settling into the light. What was that supposed to mean? The tiny, imp-like woman who'd first ushered her in was just a voice now, but even with her eyes closed, Sam could see her as clearly as if she were looking. The turquoise wraparound skirt, the pixie haircut, the smell of spicy-scented candles that lingered on her clothes. And breathe. A tiny bell chimed, jolting Sam where she sat, but that tightness in her chest, the tangle of shame and regret that was her divorce, loosened a little. It was just like the imp woman had said when Sam had walked past the shop front. You have a tangle of dirty string inside your chest. Sam had laughed out loud, but perhaps because it had been so strikingly true. That was exactly how it felt. And so she let herself be guided into a room full of brightly coloured cushions, where this imp woman had said, "Prepare to meet yourself." The little bell chimed again, and all thoughts of the last 5 minutes scattered like moths from an old, shaken-out blanket. That's what she was, wasn't it? Old. That's what Mike kept saying. "Begone," said the imp woman's voice as the bell struck again. "Begone, negative thoughts." How did she know? But maybe this was really a common experience with stressed out people. The moment they tried to meditate, all their worst thoughts came rushing up to fill the silence. Another chime. Sam breathed, and the tangle in her chest loosened a little more. As she relaxed and focused her mind on the bell's echo, an image of an expanding spiral in an odd shade of green appeared in her mind's eye. She watched it as if it were real or something on a TV screen. Out and up, the spirals unwound, and there, look, her string of pain was unwinding with it. The end of it, caught in the whirl, its ragged end snagged, and now she watched it join the reverberating swirl of green. Seeing her dirty string unwind from her like this, it bit the side of her heart, this loss. The feelings, that tangle, they were hers. Her pain was a part of her, and she wasn't ready to let go. Not quite yet. Her breath fluttered in a panic. Where was it all going? Should she open her eyes? "Stop," she began to say. "Let go," whispered the imp woman. "It's okay to let go." The very end of her string dangled close now, tugged into the unwinding spiral, ready to disappear into the green, circling ever upwards. Sam's eyes flew open. She stood up, brushing herself down. "I'm really sorry, this just isn't for me." But she was standing in the street, outside the bank, where she'd gone before she'd crossed the road to look at that strange new shop with the woman in the doorway wearing a turquoise wraparound skirt and a pixie haircut. The shop was still there. The woman waved across the street and closed the door of the shop behind her, a wry smile playing on her lips. I suppose that's quite dream punk, really, exploring altered states of consciousness. And I want to take this further and wonder what might happen if the imp successfully got into Sam's mind. Sam thinks it's over right now, that she can just walk away. But she finds that her feelings of hurt about her divorce have actually faded. She really has let go of some of that pain. When she gets her next email from her ex-husband's lawyer, it doesn't make her hands shake like they used to. The knot inside her chest has lessened. She'll start to enjoy this for a while. She'll find that she can get on with her life more easily. She finds herself going out more, laughing at her friends' jokes, telling some jokes of her own over coffee. But the imp woman returns because she wants something back. Sam owes her for the pain that she took away. And it's not something you can pay back with money. The imp wants more. But what could that be? Does that sound like another springboard for a story? But before I leave you to mull over this thought, let's just go back over the different ideas that have cropped up today. First of all, we had an unforgettable gremlin, a protagonist haunted by dreams of gremlins, or so it seems, until her mind snaps in fear at the sight of this particular gremlin. A story of a letter carrier unknowingly delivering doom to an unsuspecting victim while a greenish, stinking creature chuckles in the bottom of her trolley. Next, we have a flake, someone who's never bothered setting his mind to anything until he sees a potential success in this gardener and wants to reap the rewards of all that talent for himself through murder and identity theft. And finally, a woman struggling with the pain of a divorce, loss and so many regrets, who stumbles across a strange imp-like person who begins to release that pain through a very weird meditation, a very visual unleashing of her pain. But what for? What exactly has been taken from her heart or her mind? And what consequences may be waiting for her a little further down the line, just as she starts to relax? I hope you found some of the ideas today inspiring and that you're feeling ready to take up a pen, or at least have a little daydream about one of these adventures, one of these potential tales. Do let me know if any of the ideas in the show have inspired you. Just drop me a line at anna@annatizard.com or use the contact page at annatizard.com. Until next time, go forth and be inspired. I hope you enjoyed today's Brainstorming. You can find out more about Exquisite Corpse and my series, The Book of Exquisite Corpse, at annatizard.com. Subscribe to my e-newsletter and you'll get Volume 1 for free. And while you're there, why not submit a few words to the Socks of Destiny on my play page? You may inspire me or inspire yourself to write a unique new story. See you next time.